I stand before you with mismatched socks, a stain on my shirt, and messy hair. Not literally, although the stain on my shirt's always possible. But I stand before you imperfect. I've always taken the road less traveled, even when there's high beams pointing me in the right direction and a warning sign the other way. I've always thought, are you sure about that? Come on, guys, let's go. I remember my dad having that realization, him walking up to my room, me as a young adult, and he said, Stephanie, I finally figured you out. You know, no matter what advice you're given or what lessons we try to teach you, you need to learn everything for yourself. But once you know, you know. This wasn't always a fully conscious choice. I had to do a lot of self-reflection to figure out how I went from a risk-taking, socially awkward, slow-learning girl with a stutter to the strong, confident woman that I am today. And I'm going to share some of my realizations with you in the hopes that you guys can take an easier path. When I finished my MSW, my master's in social work, my friend said to me, you know what? You're now the most educated person I know. And you know what else? You're the least likely person that I ever thought would be the most educated person I know. And you know, at the time, I wasn't offended. In fact, I kind of understood. Because while I was busy learning my lessons, living my life, following that road less traveled, I may not have been focused on my higher education. I barely passed my first degree, but I got it. It's actually why I came to Algoma University later. It was to fix that mistake. So what does this have to do with success? I'm talking to you now about my failings, my risky behavior, and, well, wasting a lot of money. So some kids are born exuding confidence, but I wasn't one of them. My parents nor I really understand how it started from such a young age, but if you read my kindergarten report card, it's there in black and white. Stephanie lacks confidence and self-esteem, and it affects her socially, and she's unable to make friends in the classroom. As far back as I can remember, I always thought there was something wrong with me. Deep down inside, I always felt like I was bad somehow, and I had to hide who I was, and if people found out, they wouldn't like me. So in university, I took a lot of psychology classes. One of them I took was abnormal psychology. And anyone who's taken abnormal psychology before will know one of the side effects. You diagnose your friends and your family with everything. Narcissistic personality disorder. Aha, that's what was wrong with my ex. It's so pervasive that any good professor warns you about that on the first day of class. So when I opened my textbook and I started to read about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, I thought to myself, I'm making some connections, but no, Stephanie. You know, I was heeding that warning. But it was uncanny. So I called my mom and I said, Mom, I swear to you, I think I have ADHD. And she said, you're right, you do. And I was shocked. I was like, Mom, why wouldn't you have told me before? Why didn't you do anything? High school was torture. And she said, what was I gonna do, Stephanie? My mom being a teacher, she'd seen some of the side effects of Ritalin at that time, and she didn't want that for me. ADHD was so misunderstood back then, and especially often in girls and women. I wasn't a problem child. I was sitting quietly in class. I was listening attentively. I didn't have the hyperactive type of ADHD. I was mostly inattentive. If I would have been hyperactive, I probably would have had behavioral issues and been disruptive. And my guess is then I would have found out I had ADHD far before I was 23. But neurodiversity still holds a stigma. But it's getting better. In fact, there's a whole group of people with lived experience that have come together to say, stop trying to change us and make us fit into what you've determined as normal. For as many challenges people with neurodiversity face, they have more than that in strengths. So what is neurodiversity? Neurodiversity is a term used to refer to autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, learning disabilities, and other developmental challenges. Neurodiversity is an umbrella term, which means it means diversity in the brain. And I know what some of you may be thinking. All of our brains are diverse. That's what makes us who we are. That's what makes us awesome. That's what makes the world the place that it is. In order to have a diversity, though, you have to meet a certain set of criteria. So you might be a little bit impulsive, and you might have a spending problem, and you might have trouble making friends. But it's all of those things together, as well as having a certain impact on your life, that makes it a disorder. But that being said, even if you fit within the disorder, every disorder is on a spectrum, which means it looks different for different people, and people are affected different ways. And this can be based on gender and age as well. In fact, until quite recently, we thought that ADHD was a childhood disorder. We thought you grew out of it. And in fact, that might be what I thought at 23, because there I was. I had a degree. I had a diploma. I was working on my next degree. I was employed. ADHD conquered. But what we now know is most people do not grow out of ADHD. It carries on into adulthood. But it looks quite different. And also, we learn skills to deal with our challenges. And that's what had to happen for me. So my challenges weren't so challenging anymore. Neurodiversity in Canada is not rare. There's over 600,000 people that fit under that umbrella. We need to stop thinking of neurodiversity as a limitation and start seeing all of the strengths that there are in it. Society wants us to be perfect. That's what it expects. Perfect grades, AAA hockey, awards, and recognition. And these are the people who are celebrated. Meanwhile, there's an entire other group of people who fly under the radar of recognition. There's many reasons for this. It could be a neurodiversity, could be mental health, socioeconomic status, family issues, but those people end up feeling like there's something wrong with them, that they're less than. You know, I'm a mom in today's society, and I know what we want. We want our kids to focus on math and sciences, or maybe in the trades. We want them to exceed at all of their extracurriculars, be it sports, be it dance, be it music. If I would have tried any of those things, I would have failed. What we really need to do as parents is we need to follow alongside our children. We need to let them forge their own way and their own path, even if it's not traditional. But I know what you're thinking, and I know what we often think, that that's scary, because what if they don't have success? What if there's no job at the end of this? And what if they don't make any money? My theory, though, and I'm sticking to it, and I'm testing on my own children, is that confidence is the best gift that we can give our kids. If we can follow alongside them, teach them about their differences, celebrate who they are, and let them follow their journey whichever way they take it, I have no doubt in my mind that they will be successful. I was able to take all of my life experiences and turn them into my career. I am able to help people who, like me, for a variety of different reasons, though, feel like they're less than, feel like there's something wrong with them, feel like they're broken. The culmination of my academic journey was becoming a social worker. I've worked in many different areas of social work, child welfare, mental health and addictions, and now I work at Thrive Child Development Center. Thrive Child Development Center is a treatment center that treats children and youth with different developmental or physical trajectories. Some of them may have neurodiversities. We have a whole host of therapists, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech and language pathologists, early childhood educators, and of course, social workers. I don't work frontline anymore, but when I did, my job was to support the parent or the caregiver. I supported them along their journey so they in turn could focus and support their child along theirs. Neurodiversity is not a limitation. We need to realize that there's so many different strengths that people with neurodiversities have, and we can use them to make this world a more creative, more diverse, and exciting place. There's many famous people with neurodiversities. Bill Gates, for example, John F. Kennedy, John Lennon. There are countless famous people who are athletes, musicians. And the best part of being neurodiverse is that each person with a neurodiversity has a superpower. We just have to find it. Can you guess mine? Mine is this: speaking, teaching, being in front of people. I never feel more alive than when I'm doing this in this moment. I have many other strengths and resources I bring in the room, but this by far is the best. We need to help our children find their superpower. We need to help post-secondary students latch onto theirs, because through their superpower is where they're going to find their success and where they're going to unlock their genius. Online shopping is at an all-time high. We run home after work or we go to the door and we want to know what's in that box. But I hope that through my words today, you've realized that oftentimes it's not what's in the box, but what's outside that is the real treasure. People with neurodiversities, they often fail every standardized test. They often fly under the radar of recognition and awards. But with the right supports and services and accommodations to support them, they can achieve all of the things that anyone else can. I stand before you imperfect, but I hope that I've made a point that if we celebrate each other's differences and if we support each other, together we can unleash our genius. Thank you.